If you ride a motorcycle, what's the one thing you've always wanted to do? Today's the day we go to wheelie school. Welcome to the Never Ending Weekend. In my experience on a motorcycle, there's always been two things that I've always wanted to accomplish. One of them is to get my knee down. So I've just barely accomplished that on a track day I went to. But truth be told, I was leaning off the bike probably more than the bike was actually leaning. And the other thing is I've always wanted to wheelie. And I've had limited success on the road. But I saw this on social media, Wheelie Demons, like a wheelie school. So I figured I'd give it a try. So here we go. So here it is. It's a pretty simple setup, a little tent with some water, an area where they give you a little bit of instruction in the beginning, kind of tell you how dangerous this is going to be, or could be dangerous, tell you a little bit about the rigs. And here are the bikes attached to the rigs. An older Yamaha F-07 and a brand new MT-07. Has almost 700cc, 4-stroke, parallel twin engine. It's got a little over 70 horsepower, and apparently they're really good for stunting and doing wheelies. And here are the rigs that we're going to use. Apparently these have come from Germany. The owner was telling us how he's had a bike snap right off the rig because someone was way too aggressive. So they're not foolproof, but they'll keep us safe from flipping over in most cases. The first thing that we're taught is to not lean the motorcycle when we're turning, because when you lean it, you're putting a lot of torque pressure on that rear rig. So that was kind of weird, very counterintuitive to not lean and just turn the handlebars. And that took a little bit of getting used to, but we practiced that for a bit before we started doing the wheelies. And that was only to turn the bike around and get to the start again. So we all kind of started really slow here. I'm here with two other people and we're rotating on and off the two bikes. And it started off a little slow, but over the course of the next couple of hours, we got better and better. I mean, you're hoping that you go on there and just kind of wheelie across the parking lot, but it's about as bad as you'd expect. They gave us some instruction, clutching up here in first. Pretty simple stuff but are too scared to try on the street. So it was good to have the safety of this controlled environment to test out new things. So here I am on the rig now. I've been riding for so long, I'm pretty comfortable on the motorcycle, so I wasn't really worried. I think the people I were with are newer to motorcycling, so they were a little bit apprehensive, I feel, but it started falling together for everyone. And really, more than anything, even though we're on this rig, it's mentally, you're just, there's years of training on how to ride your motorcycle, and clutching up and holding your tire up is just something that's so against what your body naturally wants to do. And personally, there's so many things you have to think about, and instinct just takes over. So you're thinking about popping the clutch, keeping on the throttle, keeping your feet on the pegs, all things that are kind of simple, but as soon as you start going, everything flies out your brain and you're just instinctively reacting to whatever's happening on the bike. So it took a while to kind of get past that natural reaction and start actually thinking through what was happening. After meeting a few stunters on the street, I came to realize that, at least in my opinion, you either have the natural inclination and balance and skills to do this or you don't. I feel like if you gotta learn to do this slowly, like me, you don't maybe have that natural ability to really be good at it, because some of these guys only take a few months and they're already standing up on their wheelies, and guys like me who've been riding for decades still use the throttle and horsepower just to get the wheel up a couple of feet. So the abuse that we put on the bikes, I'm glad that they're not mine, that we're practicing on. And there are a few times the rig actually did save us. All of us in turn had at least one hairy situation that probably would have resulted in dropping a bike if we were kind of left to our own devices. So I was sharing this class, like I was saying, with two other people, really nice people, Nikki and Angelito. Nikki is barely a year on a bike, and Angelito's been riding for a couple of years now. And it's interesting to see what they came to the class on. Here's Angelito's bike, all decked out with stunting gear. I think he's dropped it a couple of times, but not too badly. It's an interesting setup. Fog lights, this camera mount, pretty interesting. And this cup holder, which is really interesting. He says it's for bubble tea. I asked him if he drinks it while he's riding, but apparently not. He just buys it, parks it there until he gets home, I guess. You have a cup holder on your bike? Dude, that's so funny.
It works well. I've taken it on the highway
Angelito didn't really want to be on camera, but here I asked Nikki a few questions. Like, what got you interested in doing this course?
I have some friends that ride Groms, and there's the stunt scene is very big with Honda Groms, so they just kind of sent me the ad for Wheelie Demons. I was like, why wouldn't I want to learn to wheelie? So yeah, signed up, and here I am.
So you have a bunch of friends with Groms that just wheeling around?
Oh yeah, Mississauga, we call ourselves the Grom Squad.
So you have a Grom?
I do, yeah.
Is that your main bike?
No, I have a DRZ 400.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Tell me about that truck. Is that your truck?
Oh, yeah, it is my truck. All the work was done by myself and my dad. So everything custom on there is done by us.
So tell me about the pipes.
They're actually off of Peterbilt, like a highway tractor. My dad picked them up from the company he worked from, and it was a Christmas present for me actually years ago. So yeah, we installed them together.
That's funny. Is that his idea or your idea?
I begged him for years,
wow.
and then he finally gave in, and yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to video you when you start it up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
That's a crazy truck. What gave you the idea of doing it?
I saw that these schools existed in the US and in the UK, and they've been running for years and are successful. And nobody has really attempted to do this in Canada, so I figured, let's try. I want to do something I'm passionate about. I've never really been passionate about wheelies. You know, I'm more of a track guy, but I understand the art. I respect stunters and what they're capable of doing. And this is like the grandiose thing for motorcyclists, right? We all want a wheelie. Some of us just want to do it in a safe and controlled environment. So the walks of life that come through are very diverse. There's a steep learning curve for most students that come here. Just when people come here, I need them to really embrace the fact that it is a school. And we might come across as a little stern, and that's because we're trying to teach. It's about having fun as well, but we want to make sure that people walk out of here and have like having learned something, right? Not just, oh, we had a blast. It's like we had a blast and this is what we now know. So this is kind of where we ended up. Longer wheelies, a little bit higher, a little bit more control. It was actually holding that wheelie at a balance point that was the real trick. And I started just getting used to it when it unfortunately all ended. So it could have been a few hours longer, but was fun nonetheless. Well, that's a wrap. That was really fun. By the end, I started getting close to that balance point. Try it if you're in the area. Have a great weekend, everyone.